Hello, good afternoon, this lovely Sunday. Hello, viewers. Hope you're well, hope you're good, and hope you're doing fantastic wherever you are in any part of the world. I want to use this medium to say thank you for coming into my channel today, and I also want to say thank you, a big thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you for your positive comment and for all the encouragement along the way. So it's me here again, your lovely friend Stephanie, coming to just share the little bits of things that I've learned myself in order for us to be able to support one another in this lovely community so that we can advance towards positive growth together. A big shout out again to all those fabulous, wonderful fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you all, wherever you are in any part of the world. We appreciate you. We thank you so much for playing your fatherly role in the lives of your lovely dear children. And for those that are not biological fathers, that are taking the responsibility to coach, mentor other people's children to become better version of themselves, we celebrate you also. And we just want to say thank you once again. And then happy Father's Day to you. Okay, so my dear lovely friends, today I'll be talking about something that I've learned just a few weeks ago, and I was just thinking to myself, because there are some changes I'm hoping for but it hasn't come yet. But I something just spoke to me. I said, in the process of waiting for this change to occur, there are some few things out there that I have seen that I should be grateful for. And I think this is something that is not so looked upon. Sometimes we focus so much on the change aspect, and we forget the process that occurs through change. And sometimes during that process there are some positive elements that may come up that we don't celebrate, that we lose sight of. Why? Because we are focusing so much on the end goal, whereby during the process of change there are things that may come up. There may be new things to learn from, new experiences, new things that could be celebrated towards the end goal of that change. But because we lose sight of this process, and we put so much attention on the end goal of the change itself, we lose focus of those things. So that's why today, friends, I'll be talking about involving through change. Okay, involving through change. What are those things that can help us to involve through change towards our end goal? So that is the thing I will be talking about today, which I feel is not being looked upon so much, and it's something I feel we should address. Because when we're working towards change, it is good, change is good, but are you open to those opportunities, those knowledge, those skills, those new experiences that may come upon towards the end goal of that change? Are you taking time to look into that? So today I'll be sharing more knowledge, and so that we will get to understand the process of involvement through change. Okay, so there is a dynamic question that has been asked: people who don't change, can they evolve? Can they evolve? Because there are some people that will say you can't change me, and there are some people, honestly, you can't change them. To be honest, no matter how hard you try so much to change them, they refuse to change. But can they evolve? Yes, I believe they can evolve. Involvement through change can also be positive in its own right. Okay, so the answer to this is yes. Yes, people who can't change can evolve. This is because recognizing that we are constantly working towards involving ourselves is a dynamic trait to success. Evolvement process is a dynamic step to success. And also because nothing in life is constant except change. Change is the most constant thing. So every time we are working towards a change, we are actually evolving, because the only constant thing that can be maintained is change. Okay, so evolving through change is a continuous process, and it's not an end to itself, but a force to reckon with throughout a lifetime. Throughout the lifetime of our existence, we are constantly working towards change, because there is no end in itself. That's why change itself is a constant thing that can be worked on every day, every moment of our life. So we should not look to change, but we should look to evolving by striving into our power so that we can become a better version of ourselves, going from good to great. What does it mean that we should look towards evolving? Because sometimes when we focus so much on the change aspect itself, we lack knowledge of the experience that we can gain through the process of working towards that change, which is evolving. So striving into our power through evolving can help us to become a better version of ourselves, helping us to go from good to great. So choosing to involve through change means we can use our natural strength through a step-by-step approach to walk out of our comfort zone towards our success. What is changed to me may be different from what is changed to you. How I work towards perfecting the change that I want may be different from how you work towards perfecting the change that you want. Because why? We all have different strengths. So my own strength may be different from your own strength. But the thing is that sometimes we try to compete with other people because we see somebody achieving so much things in their life, in the face aspect. We compete with ourselves, and because of that we lack the excitement in the process that leads towards the change that we so really want for ourselves. So if we take a look into these things, this can help us to really appreciate the process of evolving through change. Because when we use the process of evolving towards change, the possibilities of success are unlimited and there is less anxiety caused by wanting to achieve more, which can cause a form of stress, tension when goals and success are not within the reach that we so want, and when these goals and success are not attainable as much as we would like it to be. This can cause so much anxiety, this can cause stress, this can cause tension, and this can even affect the relationship between us and our loved ones. Involving through change means a step-by-step approach taken in a more consistent way towards goals set. It means being patient with ourselves and enjoying the process that leads to growth, because working towards growth sometimes can be enjoyable. Okay, working towards growth sometimes can help us to learn from other things, from other aspects surrounding us, which can help us to develop a growth that we so want, and also help us to focus attention on the end result through involving through change. Involving through change can create a sense of well-being and new experiences to learn, which can become an added bonus to the goals and the successes that we so want for ourselves. So what happens when change doesn't work? Believe it or not, there are some times changes doesn't work. There are some times I've worked towards a change and it doesn't turn out to be the way I really want it to be. So changing sometimes may not work, but please, my dear viewers, don't hate yourself for that when the change you so want doesn't work out the way you want it to be. Using the process of change along to achieve a goal can create tension, stress, and anxiety, like I said, especially when those changes doesn't work. This is because you cannot change anyone. You cannot change any situation. We make the decision ourselves to change. So trying to change people is a wrong perception, which has been seen to fail and sometimes has become a line towards relationship breakdown, as we expect some form of outcome or behavior from a person, all due to the use of wanting to change them, which can be unfortunately not as expected as we really want that change to be attainable. One thing for a fact is that changing people is the wrong idea. You cannot change people. People can only make a decision to change themselves. Because people don't need to change and people can't change. But people can evolve into being a better version of themselves. This means living in your full potential, and being the best version of yourself will lead to an evolution that continues throughout a lifetime. Why changing, on the other hand, means trying to change someone to be a different person or to change a significant characteristics. Creating change through force can make people work against their own natural abilities, which can cause some form of unhappiness. With time, they may not be able to cope with the challenges that change may bring, and they may not be able to sustain the change created by force for a long time, and they eventually will go back to their natural self or style of doing things their own way. That's why the greatest mistake anyone can do is trying to change someone. Because if you force a change on someone and that person works towards that change trying to please you, at the end of the day, if that change intention does not come out from that person will get tired of trying to please you to change and will go back to their old self. That is why when you are working towards changing or implementing the process of change to someone, think of involving, because if that person does not automatically go in towards that change, through involving, the person can begin to enjoy the aspect that can lead to change and can decide if they really want that change or not. So what happens when evolving doesn't work? Well, in a constant to change, involving means to make adjustment that work better for you to involve your anticipated result. So, can involving work? Yes, involving can work. Involving can make somebody become a better version of themselves if they so choose to. Evolving allows for growth without compromising one natural preference or ability. Through the concept of evolving, in contrast to change, one can still strive for success, but will still be able to adapt or adjust to the variation to drive and achieve better results. So, does evolving permit failure? Knowing as individuals we are always working to involve ourselves is a major part of the journey of success in our lives. By acknowledging that the important thing is not the change achieved, but the involvement achieved through the process, that will enable us to allow for growth through trials and error. This means that through involving, failure can be permitted, because as you're working towards change and you're working towards change with the mindset of involving, when failure comes into place, it will be easier for you to adjust. Because why? You are not focusing at the end result, you are focusing at the experiences that will come through involvement towards that change. So that is going to help you to adjust yourself even when failure comes, while you are trying to work towards the change that you so want. So when we fail, while in the process, we are able to forgive ourselves, which gives us the needed forgiveness to fail. So through involving, while introducing involving into change, even when failure comes, it is much easier for us to forgive ourselves, because our end focus was not on the change itself, but on the journey and experiences that may come up through working towards that change. So when the needed result doesn't come, it helps us to know that, yeah, I am not at the end of my change goal, I am still working towards this change, so I can still correct my mistake. I can still draw back, learn from these experiences I have learned from while working towards that change, correct the mistakes I need to correct, and then go back on the same process to the change I so want. So best when we make the process all about change, it's so planned and there is lack of excitement and fun in achievement. Because viewers, when we make the focus of our journey all about the change and the end result that is going to bring, there is no excitement in it, there is no joy, there is no fun, and we lose focus, and we are stressed, we get so much anxiety and so much tension because our end focus is on the change. But when we go through change, through involving, when we don't get the result we want, we are still able to enjoy some beneficial aspects, which can also form another aspect of knowledge to help us do better towards that change. In a mindset of change, we are set to fail because it is impossible to change at all times. This means when we focus so much attention on the change itself, neglecting the involvement and the process that leads to that change, we may become so, we may end up failing, and also this will not bring up the joy and the needed excitement that we need. But with the mindset of involving, we have the ability to succeed because it is by working with our natural strength in a step-by-step process which can lead to a bigger win and a more satisfying life itself. So what is it to involve? To involve means to be selfish. Yes. Involvement means to be selfish. Involvement permits one to be selfish. Now, what does this mean? It means choosing to involve means stepping into our power for ourselves, okay? Only and not for anyone else. So when we go through change with the mindset of involving, yes, we can be selfish, because while we are doing this for ourselves and ourselves alone, we are not doing this for anyone else. And we are not doing this for friends, we are not doing this for family members, we are not doing this for our neighbors, we are not doing this for our loved ones, we are doing this for ourselves. And sometimes this might create a form of selfishness, because through the process of involvement, you are not working towards satisfying somebody else's desire for you to change. You are actually working to get better at your own way, in your own time, and with your own strength, okay? Which sometimes can be seen as being selfish. But the goal here is not to involve for anyone's sake. Choosing to involve is us choosing to create a better version of ourselves for our own happiness, for our own self-fulfillment, for our own well-being, okay? And not for anyone else's. So choosing to involve is something that can be introduced during the process of change. Because why they say change is a constant thing, involvement through change can be more beneficial, can be much fun, and can create more excitement and more experiences along the way that can help us to achieve that needed change that we are striving for. So my dear lovely friends, I hope you've learned something beneficial through this process of involving through change. I myself, I am now working towards involving. I am not focusing so much on the end result, but I'm focusing also on the process and the knowledge and everything else that will be coming about through my process of going through the changes that I want. So my dear friend, when you focus so much on change, it may create some kind of anxiety and stress. But when you introduce the process of involving towards change, you get to learn more, you get to appreciate life more, and you get to learn more skills and more experiences that you could use when you eventually get towards that final change you so desire. So my dear viewers, thank you so much for tuning in this Sunday afternoon. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you once again when next we come together to share more knowledge and insight that can help us to become better version of ourselves in every areas of our life. Take care, stay well. Till when I see you soon, is I, Stephanie. Bye.